Hello everybody, welcome to our channel. Today we are going to do a video where we answer questions most typically asked to international couples.
Yeah.
Because I am from America and she is from
the Philippines.
the Philippines.
So it's a Filipino-American relationship. So I just got these questions from the internet. I actually just googled it and I found an article about it. So we just decided to use these questions. First question, and we're both gonna answer it.
You go first. Every time.
Okay. So number one, how does your family feel about your partner's race? Honestly, my family, they didn't really care too much. Like, I think this is kind of weird because, okay, the thing about is like Southeast Asians actually really like white people. That's just in like all of like Southeast Asia. And I personally like didn't want to date a white person because I feel like I was falling into the stereotype of, you know, that Filipina with an American like boyfriend or husband, whatever that is. So I didn't want to date him at first, but then, you know, my parents are really down for it. Like, they didn't care if I married an American or Filipino or whatever other race, you know. They were just pretty cool with it, so.
Yeah, same for my parents. They didn't, and my whole family, they don't really care about race. They just wanted to make sure I didn't marry someone lame. So, but yeah, race isn't really a problem for us.
Yeah.
It's kinda, we don't even really think about it that much.
Yeah. Okay. Number two, wouldn't it be easier to just date your own race? Sometimes I actually tell Logan, like, you should have just married a white girl. Because we do have disagreements every now and then. And like, I don't think it would make any difference. Like, if I married a Filipino, I think it would just be the same as long as you like get along with each other. It doesn't matter where they're from. Yeah, so I don't think it would be easier. Marriage is what it is. Like, it's gonna be hard at times, so.
You don't think it would be easier?
I mean, I don't think it would be easier. Like, I think marriage will be the same whether or not you're from the same place or not. Actually, I don't know.
Because I disagree.
I don't know.
I think, this sounds negative, it's not negative, but I do think it would be easier if people married people from their same country.
That's actually true, because like...
That's not a negative thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not racist and I don't think international relationships will always fail, but it's just people in the Philippines or Germany or Japan or Africa, wherever people are from, are brought up inherently different than other people, and there's no way that's wrong or right or better. It's just different. And so there's things that I was raised that we have different views on just based on where we grew up. And so if you date someone or marry someone from your same country or province or wherever you're from, you'll probably have more things that you agree on. But that being said, I think an international couple, the small disagreements that you have on culture and or political views or world views that are different, those disagreements are far outweighed by the combining of two cultures, because it's really cool to see a whole nother culture that I have no idea about, really. I mean, and I'm learning more and more about it, so I have learned a lot, but she teaches me a lot about Filipino culture. She knows way more about American culture than I do. But it's cool to have two cultures combined, because then it's just cool.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you with that. I was just trying to be really positive when I said that. But, I mean...
It's not negative. It's just how it is. The question is, would it be easier? And it's... So that's like, is marriage with, like, people who get married or date from the same country, is that easy? No. Any relationship will be hard. But the question is, would it be easier? And I mean, it's obviously a good question because it's kind of hard to answer.
Yeah, like, well, I don't know. I agree with you. With like, it would be easier because right now we are trying to decide where we're gonna live. But if I married someone from the Philippines, we'll probably just decide that we're gonna live in the Philippines unless, you know, other
Yeah,
things
and I
come
would
up.
I would probably just stay in the States forever. And living in one place or the other, there's pros and cons to both places, but neither is inherently better. So it's just you have to approach situations that most people never have to think about.
Okay, let's move on to the next question.
Yeah, we could talk about that one. For a bit.
So number 3, I feel like this question is more for me than it is for you. Don't you get frustrated not being able to express yourself in your own language? I don't think Logan has any problems with that because I feel like my English is pretty good.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can understand whatever he's gonna say. But it is frustrating for me sometimes, especially when I get mad. And I just, you know, when I get mad, I just can't think straight in English. It's just like, and it also makes me mad that I can't think straight in English because none of the words come out. And then he just kind of makes fun of me because like, what, like, none of it comes out. And I'm just like, oh, like, I wish I could just like, and so sometimes I just speak in my own language. I'm just like, I don't even care like what I say, you know, whatever, he doesn't understand. So it is frustrating at times, but for the most part, it's pretty good. Like, we both have English as our common language.
And I feel like we're really good at communicating without getting really, really emotional. And we typically don't have too big of arguments. And I think if you had really, really, really emotional arguments or conversations all the time, that could be hard. But we're always able to talk through things pretty mellow. So language is not a problem for us. There's no language barrier.
Okay, number 4. Do people stare at you when you go on dates?
No.
I haven't really noticed, but what I can say is that when we went back home to the Philippines, people do stare, just as there's not like a lot of white people. Every now and then you see a white person, but like
if you see like a white dude with a similar aged Filipina and her whole family, that's a little bit different. Because it's kind of typical in Filipino/American culture for older white men.
Not just Filipino culture. Most of Southeast Asian countries have this like thing.
Vietnam, Cambodia, you know.
Thailand, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of just this weird culture where older white gentlemen will marry younger Asian women for a bunch of different cultural reasons.
Yeah,
and
like,
stereotypes, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, but when you see, we're the same age, so that's not as common. So... Yeah. But in America, no one stares at us. Like when we go out to eat or whatever.
Yeah, because it's pretty common. Like,
and go ahead.
It's pretty common here. Like in America, there's like so many different other national or ethnicities you see every day. So it's not like a brand new thing.
Yeah, and her English is so good that people don't think she's from a different country.
Just assume that I'm from here. Did you meet online? I feel like that's a really annoying question to ask. You should just ask international couples. If they,
how did they meet?
How did they meet?
That's a more like tactful question, but it is stereotypical that people meet online.
Yeah, but I feel like it like bothers me more because, you know, they think like Southeast Asians like go on like find a white dude
just so they can find a rich white dude
and they can come here to the States. I'm like, that's really not our story, and it just bugs me.
She's more self-conscious about that than I am. Yeah, I don't care how people ask how we met because it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, and we haven't really gotten that question, you know.
No.
Just this one time I've gotten that question.
Next question.
Have you always been into insert race? So have I always been into white males, or has he always been to Asian? No, I haven't. That's my answer. I haven't, like, I don't know. I've never dated any other race aside from Filipinos because there's not a lot of other people in the Philippines. And I've never, like, imagined myself even to date an American or Caucasian male. So, no. It just so happened that he is.
Yeah. And for me, I think I've always just been attracted to pretty girls. So, I mean, and I've spent a good amount of time in Asia or around Asian culture. Like in high school, I took Chinese class, and so I was always around Asian culture, and I've lived in Asia for
2 years.
For an extended amount of time. And so I think when you live in a different country for a long enough time, the racial barrier almost breaks down, and you forget that you're looking at a different race, and it's just like, oh, that's a beautiful woman, or that's a handsome guy. Like, you don't really see the borders anymore because you're so used to being influenced and immersed in that culture. And so people always ask me if I have yellow fever, which is the slang term for being obsessed with Asian women or men, I guess.
Yeah.
And I always laugh when people ask me that. It's kind of funny. It doesn't really offend me, or I don't get self-conscious about it. And sometimes I say yes because I like Asian women, but also
Asian woman.
But I don't think Asian women are inherently more beautiful than Italian women or European women or American.
Any other woman.
Yeah, there's beautiful people in every race and ugly people in every race.
Everybody is beautiful.
All right.
Okay, number 7. What language are you going to speak with your kids? I'll try as much as possible that I'll teach them Filipino, like Tagalog and Cebuano, because that's what my family speaks. As much as possible, you know. I'll try my best that they actually speak it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I want our kids to learn as many languages so they can be tied as closely as possible to their culture, to Filipino culture, to their grandparents' culture, to their mom's culture, to their extended family's culture. Because I think it's pretty sad when something like that is just lost. And so, we're planning on trying to live in Southeast Asia, and so we're going to do everything we can to help them learn Tagalog and Bisaya, and they'll obviously speak English wherever they live. I mean, she's a prime example of living in Asia, but she speaks English fluently. So we won't have to teach them English. They'll just learn English.
Yeah, they'll just learn it.
The biggest hit...
that's why I'm trying to teach him to speak.
That's the biggest stumbling block.
Like in our family, that we can speak it all together.
Yeah. Because if I can speak it, then we can both speak it to our kids. And so that's our goal.
Okay.
So, well, to answer the question, we're going to speak English and Tagalog.
And my language.
And Bisaya.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Yeah. Okay. Number 8. What do you guys eat at home?
Ooh, I'll answer this one first.
Okay, you can answer.
We always eat Asian food.
Always.
So, I mean, obviously we'll eat different things, but I would say 80% of our meals are eaten over rice with Asian flavored meat, Asian flavored vegetables. Usually, in lots of Asian cooking, they cook things in a wok and they fry it. So lots of fried vegetables, fried meats with various sauces, and I love it. I love any sort of Asian food. I am not picky. I don't like spice a ton. I can eat it, but my stomach doesn't like it as much, and so I just don't. The pros don't outweigh the cons, and so we don't eat a ton of crazy spicy food. She really likes spicy food, and so I'm usually the one that is the party pooper on spicy food. I always like it a little bit more mild. But yeah, we love Asian food.
Yeah, and I think most of the time I cook.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just am more inclined to cook Asian food. I just love like the flavors of like soy sauce and like a tangy, you know, that taste. So I cook a various different kinds of Asian food, not just Filipino food.
She probably cooks Filipino food the least.
Yeah,
she probably cooks Korean food the most.
Yeah, I do love Korean food.
Korean and Japanese. And
yeah, I cook Japanese and.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we eat Asian food most at home.
Yeah.
Next question.
Next question. Oh, this is the last question. Was it weird when your parents met? I don't think it was weird. It was just very kind of silent, I would say. They didn't really talk much. Okay, the thing is, my parents, like, they speak English, but if you're like me, you know how Filipino parents speak, like how they speak English. They're kind of shy about their English, and they have like a pretty thick accent. So, and so when they came here, they were really shy to, like, you know, speak English because they only speak English like sometimes. But they understand most of the English, you know, spoken.
Yeah, her family's English is great. And it's funny because her parents are so nice and my parents are so nice that they don't want to put a burden on each other, or they don't want to offend each other. And so my parents were so worried when her parents, because her parents, when they came to Utah to stay for the wedding, that her parents stayed at my parents' house. And so my mom was so worried about having all of the things that her family would need, whether it be the right food or just so they were comfortable.
And so worried about
so my mom was so worried about that, and my dad as well. They were both so concerned that her family would be comfortable. So that's extremely nice. And then on the other side, her family didn't want to be a burden. They didn't want my parents to have to go to great lengths to make her family comfortable. And so it was kind of funny. They were both kind of walking on eggshells a little bit. And so it was totally positive, happy experience. But I think they both were a little bit, not uncomfortable, but just not totally relaxed.
They're just kind of like super careful, I guess.
They were super.
I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah. But it wasn't awkward at all because our parents are so nice.
Yeah, they're both so
and
nice.
All of our parents are so nerdy. So they just get along. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was a good experience. I don't think it was like anything weird or yeah. My mom was really nervous though to meet his parents just because.
Really?
Well, just because her English, she's always worried about like her English skills. She's like, oh, I don't know what to say. Yeah. And
it's hard because I think lots of people associate not speaking English as well with like lower intelligence, which makes people nervous that they'll be perceived that way. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So that was the end of the questions. Yeah. I hope you guys learned a thing or two from our international couple life. Yeah, and I like this. Yeah? Answering these questions. Yeah, me too. Because we discuss about our thoughts and I mean, lots of these questions we could talk forever about. And we do talk about stuff like this a lot because it's our life. So. Yeah. And I think we'll probably do like a part 2 of this or like more some other kind, more in-depth. International couple, what to know when marrying what you a foreigner or something like that. Okay, yeah. So. Or we could go more into depth. Maybe we'll get feedback from you guys. Oh yeah, you guys. We could go more into depth about cultural things that we disagree on. What we argue about. What we argue about, or what it was easy. What was surprisingly easy. Because our whole relationship has been surprisingly easy. And so we could talk about the main cultural differences, the cultural similarities, tips, or I mean, because there's a whole other side of international relationship that has to deal with visas
Oh yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
getting a green card and blah blah blah. So I mean that's a whole nother arm, and we're not experts because we're not lawyers, but
I guess we have experience with dealing with
so we
that,
could do a bunch of different stuff like that. And
just leave us a comment of what you guys want to see next, and we'll check them out and see what we can come
we're
up
here
with.
for the people.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Well, thanks guys for watching. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.